What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to Trip Stories. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video talking about the future of Trip Stories. In that video, I kind of talked about the fact that all my stories have been told already for the most part. Not to say there won't be stories in the future, not to say there might be one or two locked up in my memory somewhere that I might tell in the future as well. But as of right now, I want to get Trip Stories out to you guys. I want to keep the series going. And to do that, my idea was to incorporate other people's stories into the Trip Stories series. I think that these stories actually help people. It's fun, it's entertaining, but I think that we all learn something along the way. That's kind of what life has always been about, telling stories as the generations go. And I think that these videos being online forever, hopefully if YouTube doesn't delete my channel or something like that, I think it's very beneficial. So this one, I didn't read completely because I kind of wanted to experience it with you guys, but I'm just gonna basically read the email, read this guy's story, and then we'll discuss it after. So I'm legitimately just gonna read word for word. There's like a couple little typos and little words that shouldn't be there, and I'll do my best to clean it up a little bit. But for the purpose of not trying to change the narrative and everything, I'm just gonna kind of read word for word as best I can, okay? So this is from a guy named Daniel. Hey, my name is Daniel, and I want to share with you and your fans mine and my girlfriend's trip story, our first time on acid. We were on a vacation and we were planning to drop acid for the first time. We were with a friend and his roommate in their apartment. We spent 4 days and 3 nights there. We're daily smokers and we wanted to try something new or a special strain of weed. We were smoking all day on the first day, not really going out, just preparing for the big day. On the second, we smoked a big amount, and around 9:30 p.m. we decided to drop acid, and we rolled a 15-gram cone for the come up. God damn. We put on the film Inception and prepared the acid. At 10:30 p.m. we dropped and got comfy. Me, my girlfriend, and our friend dropped, and the roommate was our trip sitter. As we know, we both dropped 125 micrograms, and our friend, who tripped a lot before, dropped 150. I think we were dosed with more, and our friend looked like someone on 300 micrograms or so. We lit up the joint and started smoking it. It took like 30 to 40 minutes because we were really high by that time, and I saw my girlfriend started checking her hands a lot and looking around. Another 30 minutes passed and I saw her a bit spaced out with huge pupils and kind of uncomfortable with the feelings and situation. I haven't felt anything for like 2 hours, but I saw my girlfriend and friend tripping hard. They started talking about going for a walk or just to go outside, but I started to freak out. I was lost in time and reality. I thought I was dead or went crazy. I couldn't understand what they were saying and I just panicked. I tried to play it cool like it was a dream and they were trying to kill me or play with me some crazy scary game, and I acted like everything is normal. But it changed. For a second I was freaking out calling for help, and in another I was laughing with them and tried to fit in. I didn't know what was going on. I think I lost consciousness for minutes, but I was moving. Everyone was dressed up, ready to go, but I didn't want to. They tried to get me in my clothes and I was acting again, so I dressed up and I said I'm going with them. I waited for the 2 guys to go out on the door and stayed with my girlfriend. I asked her to sit down with me and watch the time passing on my phone. iPhone app shows the seconds and I wanted to know if this is a dream or even reality. He gets me relaxed and we're walking in the corridor, and as she said, she was tripping that the corridor was infinite and we're walking in there for 15 to 20 minutes. It only took 30 seconds to get to the door. As we got outside, she was tripping on her zipper that it was infinite too. I think she felt in a loop. We got to the parking lot and they were zombies. From the beginning, I had all my focus and I was right in my head, didn't trip for a second. I was just terrified and scared for my life. In the parking lot, they started to walk around as zombies and they didn't listen to their names. Sometimes they'd come back a little bit and connected like they were all my enemies again and try to trick me and kill me somewhere on the street. When we were walking, I started to hallucinate really bad, and I saw our group of 4 everywhere we were before. So like on the other side of the road or next to a park. I was ill, so my nose was running all the time, and every time I touched my face or blew my nose, I saw blood everywhere, and I thought I was bleeding out or some shit. They were tripping, then back to life again in every 3 to 5 minutes. And I had some crazy thought in my mind and went to a dark place, and I started to hallucinate my family and friends dying next to us, or on the road getting hit by a bus or something. But I was in a shock, which didn't let me do anything, just watch and suffer. I was telling them that I want to go back really bad, that I think we should roll a joint or something to trick them and be at their place, safe. We talked about the same shit for hours on the streets, and I fell in a loop, and I felt we were stuck in a conversation forever and it didn't stop, and somehow our trip sitter got everyone in one place and took us home. It was 5 to 6 hours from the drop. When we were home, they were calm and didn't do much, just looking out if there had like some brainwashed robots. And I was grinding weed for an hour. I fell in a loop again. My girlfriend had a very bad hallucination, as she said. My girlfriend had a very bad hallucination, as she said she saw her friend with a dodo bird's head on the place of his, and he was ticking and going back and forth for minutes. They started to come down, as they said, and just laid for hours and relaxed. Had some visuals. I was stuck watching the music video of LSD by Rocky, and just had to rest. My bad feeling went away, and I felt a little bit calmer. I still had that feeling that I was dead. I just accepted everything. I was scared, but I didn't care. I just wanted to watch that video and roll that joint I started like 1.5 to 2 hours ago. I kind of started communicating with my girlfriend, and she was in a better headspace than me. She looked calm and relaxed. Till this time, I couldn't talk to her because she was scared of me. I decided that I will go to the bathroom, and that's where everything went crazy and really fucked up for me. For now on, I was the only one tripping hard, and they were coming down, so their parts end here, and they just watched me getting back to life somehow. Before I went in, I turned around and asked my girlfriend if she will be out there when I'm done, and she wouldn't leave me alone or let me die in there. She convinced me, and I went in and closed the door. I knew that I shouldn't look in the mirror because it'll freak me out. But somehow I looked in it, and I was shocked. My pupils were huge, and I started seeing myself fall apart. But I saw in the mirror my body is doing something else, so I didn't see my reflection, and I was stuck there. I couldn't move. I just watched it as a film. I was talking to that body that I saw. I will call it my clone. My clone was walking in the bathroom trying to say something, started to pee in the toilet, which was funny, but still didn't know what was going on. I spent like 15 minutes in there, but it felt like hours. After I walked away from the mirror, I convinced myself that I will go out and be myself again. I was hesitating, but after a few minutes, I opened the door, and I was so fucking happy that no one disappeared that my mind went to the happiest place, and I started to come down. It took like 2 to 3 hours, but in the morning, I still had some shit going on with my eyes. The specific parts I have in my head really hit me after the whole trip. I revalued my life and relationships with people. A few days ago, I had some psychedelic dreams that I'm still thinking about, and I'm interested if you experience any kind of psychedelic crazy dreams. Have you guys ever experienced any sort of psychedelic dreams? I'd be very happy if you could give some advice or tips to others not to experience such a thing as I did, and it would be a pleasure to me to hear my trip story from you. If you read it till here, I just want to let you know that we really love your videos and what you're doing, Daniel. Well, thanks, Daniel. To me, it sounds like you just expected too much. Sometimes over-planning a psychedelic trip can do more harm than good. I don't know your situation. I don't know the story. I don't know the exact fucking things that happened. It sounds like maybe the people you were with weren't the best people to be with, but it's really hard to say. You probably should have just been more honest with yourself and them about not wanting to go outside. You should never really do anything you don't want to do when you're tripping. Smoking that much weed as you're coming up on acid might not be the best idea. That could be another thing. It's hard to say. Everybody's, situations are always different. But it definitely sounds like a pretty insane acid trip and terrifying. There's not much you can really do to get out of that once you're already in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would probably be my input to that story, is that you just want to make sure your situation's good. Be more honest with yourself. If it's your first time, I would not suggest smoking that much. 15-gram cone. It seems like a lot. Because you just get that paranoia from smoking weed. Whether you admit it or not, for the most part, a lot of people get slightly paranoid, even if they're okay with the paranoia when they smoke weed. But to do that while you're on acid, it's going to amplify it to a point where you don't even know where it can go. I would suggest smoking a little bit as you're coming up, and then, chilling for a while, and then smoke a little bit as you're coming down. Determining on how your experience is going. But so what do you guys think? What do you think that Daniel's mistake was in this story? Have you guys had experiences like this? What's your advice for Daniel? This is actually a really interesting story here. I'm excited to do more of these because it's definitely something I got to get used to as far as just reading these stories. I think what I'll do next time is just kind of like format the writing a little bit different, so that way I read it correctly, and maybe even read it beforehand, so that way I have a better idea of how to read the story, if that makes sense. Or if it's going to be a good story. Because this is actually my second video I've done already. The first one I tried, and it just didn't really work. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy that? Would you guys rather, see people actually telling their stories like on video, from their actual perspective? You guys let me know. This is obviously just the beginning phases of the new Trip Story series. So I'm learning along with you guys. Your input would be appreciated. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out audible484.com for merch like this to help support the channel. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you. Smoke something, drink something, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.